Governor Ron DeSantis has signed into law a new immigration bill that is essentially designed to make life unlivable for undocumented immigrants inside the state of Florida. First of all, there will be an ID restriction. This law prevents counties and cities in Florida from issuing an identification card or document to anyone who cannot prove that they are legally present inside the U.S. Employment restrictions. This law makes it illegal for businesses to continue employing someone who is not legally present inside the United States. Travel restrictions. Now the final version says that it is a third-degree felony to transport anyone undocumented into the state of Florida. Healthcare restrictions. Hospitals that accept Medicaid will be required to confirm the immigration status of their patients and then submit a quarterly report to the government.